Bible says in Matthew the 6th chapter. This is where we're at. We will get to where we need to go. I've shared a little bit of this morning to the class, but we're just going to go ahead and we'll get to where we need to go. The Bible says in Matthew the 6th chapter, because if I can get that, this is where, take heed that you do not do your charitable deeds before men to be seen by them. Otherwise you have no reward from your Father in heaven. Therefore, when you do charitable deeds, do not sound a trumpet before you, as the hypocrites do in the synagogue and in the streets. They may have glory from men. Surely, I say to you, they have their reward. But when you do a charitable deed, do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing, that your charitable deed may be in secret. And your Father who is in secret will himself reward you openly. 5.
When you pray, do not be like hypocrites, but they love to pray standing in the synagogues and on the streets and corners to be seen by men. I tell you the truth, they have received their reward in full. But when you pray, go into your room, close the door, and pray to your Father, who is unseen. Then your Father, who sees what is done, what is done in secret, will reward you. And when you pray, do not keep on babbling like pagans, for they think that they will be heard because of their many words. Do not be like them, for your Father knows what you need before you ask.
This then is how we should pray. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread. Forgive us our debts, as we also have forgiven our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. For if you forgive men when they sin against you, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. But if you do not forgive men their sins, your Father will not forgive your sins.
16.
Moreover, when you fast, do not be like hypocrites, with a sad countenance. For they disfigure their faces, that they may appear to men to be fasting. Assuredly, I say to you, they have their reward.
So guys, what I'm going to do is pull up for just a minute. Calvert can't say too much because he's heard this morning. But here's my point. What does Jesus start off with talking about at first? Look at your text. What did Jesus start to talk about? Let me try this. What did his disciples ask him?
Praying. He asked him, how do you pray?
How you pray, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is what his disciples asked him. How do you pray? Then I'm going to ask you this question. And how do you pray? I'm going to ask you that question. Then how do you pray? Not everybody heard. Well, not that's how I pray. But the question is, when you pray, what do you do? And how do you pray? How do you pray? That was the question I asked this morning. And how long do you pray?
Talk to God.
And I said, listen to me. Because here's what you might not want to admit it or not. Here's what you do. You pray. And if there was a clock on you, it's probably less than 5 minutes. Did you hear me? It's probably less than 5 minutes. You're talking, you're saying a few things to the Lord. You get up and you then, okay, now I've said my prayer so I can get up. I can't say it enough. You think I'm kidding you. Don't put on a false face with God. Time yourself. And when you time yourself, you'll find out it ain't no more than 5 minutes, and you're gone. And you're on about your business. But what did he tell his disciples? He told them when they prayed to go where? closet or what? In a room. He's talking about they're going to a room, and then they go into that room, they're going to that room and do what? And pray. Now, I use this, Jesus has always been an example for us, right? Well, what we're going to do when Jesus went to the Garden of Gethsemane. The Bible says Jesus prayed for just a few minutes, and then he came back, right?
No, prayed.
So he prayed for quite some time. So when he came back, his disciples were what?
Asleep.
That's a lot of praying. When you can leave and they were alive and woke and you said, I'll be back for a minute, and they know where you went, and when they discovered where you went, they even forgot the time, and you took so long in coming back that they nodded out. Well, hold on. Didn't he do this twice?
Yeah.
When he came back twice, where were they the second time? They were asleep again. So then here's my point. When we study the scriptures of Jesus' life, Jesus was a praying man. He was a praying man. He was always praying. He spent his time with his disciples. Then he would leave his disciples. And then he would go, and maybe not to Gethsemane, but he would go into the mountains. He would go somewhere where it was just him and the Father. What'd you say? He'd go somewhere where it's secluded. So he's not asking us to do something he hasn't done. But his reasoning for doing this was because of there's nothing in the way.
Okay.
So that when I talk to my Father, there was no distractions. And a lot of times you don't do it. I use this example. You say it while you're in the car. You know where your focus needs to be. Your focus needs to be on driving.
Right.
So you saying this while you're in the car. You got up this morning, and as you got out of bed, you said a few little things. Lord, have mercy on me. Please forgive me of my sins. And you took off. And that was less than even a minute that you said these things. And you moved on. And then I made the statement. Then how then, when we look into the church, meaning here, and you don't see a lot in here, could it be us? God is not the one that stagnates the church. God does not stagnate the church. The Bible says in Acts 2:47 that he adds to the church daily that which should be saved. That's what God said. We talked about this morning, right, Calvin? I look up and I said, and looking in the audience, I see one side halfway decent, the other side all more potholes in it than a little bit. And here's the sad part about it, and it is believed that we're content. We're actually satisfied with the fact of looking over here, and you got a few people, and you got, and it's got more holes in a little bit, and it's not God that's causing this. God wants to add to his church daily, but he can't because we won't. But why we won't is because we don't pray. Because we don't talk to God. The more you concentrate on praying to God, Calvert, you said something this morning, which was awesome. The more we concentrate on praying to God, do you remember it or you can forget it? Okay. Then can you let them hear it? It was awesome, guys. It was awesome when he said this. Okay? Yes, we wait. Lord! This week, Lenny. Lord help us.
That's okay.
Cal said, I'm leaving. Go ahead, Cal. You ain't getting no more cake. Hey, and just for that, you ain't getting no more cake. I took care of that.
Yeah, I was just to reiterate what was said this morning. Well, first of all, if you guys can ever make it, and even if you have a schedule, let me just suggest this.
Go ahead.
Take a day off. And rather than doing yourself, come on a Wednesday morning. And that's okay. God will appreciate it. Trust me. It's sometimes you don't have to have an event that's taking place for you to take a day off. If you have time to take a day off and come on Wednesday morning to class. That's number one. I'll give you a plug on that one. But, yeah, no, honestly, because it is, it's not just the amount of people that are here.
Right.
It's very intimate.
Sure is.
It's very intimate, and we get real expressive, and there are a number of places we go, but we stay within the text. We always come back in. We start in, we come back in. So what we had talked about this morning was about prayer.
Right.
And oftentimes, the Bible says right here in Matthew, it says find a room. And oftentimes, if you're not already in prayer, it's going to be extremely challenging to find a room or a prayer closet to go to. This is something that you have to do. And what I brought up was something that came out of Psalms 105. It talks about seeking God's face.
Come on. That's what
Seek His face. Before you even get up and start your day and do what you need to do, if you're not setting the tone already,
come on.
when you start looking at committing yourself to prayer, and you got to understand, the more, watch this, if your prayer starts off like this, and you continue to stay steadfast in it, guess what? It begins to fill you up so that it moves out the bull.
Come on.
You know, the funky stuff. The stuff that's no good for us anyway.
Come on.
And then you start to see things a little different. And you wonder, how were you able to handle that situation? Because I didn't know it was going to come up and it was going to affect me like that. But because I saw His face. And we talked about that Sunday morning, right? We talked about lust and love.
Right. Yes, we did.
Love always seek. Bible says, seek ye first the kingdom of God.
Right.
Seek. Lust always search. Love seeks, lust search.
Come on.
That's what the devil does. He search out to see who he can devour. God seek out his. He always seek his out. But that's in love. But anyway, yeah, that's what he's talking about. And it got real heavy. And I mean, but that's how we roll like that. And not to say we don't do it here, but
Right.
yeah.
So that's just my point. When you stop and think about it, he is talking about, and if you notice how he's really writing this, he is on prayer. Jesus is trying to get us to understand how important it is to pray. And so I made the statement. Your Bible says in James the 4th chapter, it says, you ask and you do not have. And you do not have because you ask with wrong motives. So watch this. So then here's the question. Is my prayer then a prayer that, watch this, that God will answer? I've been praying for years and God won't answer. First of all, is it because your prayer is about 5 minutes? If you can squeeze that out. A lot of times you don't squeeze, you hear me? I'm sure well, we may joke with it, but it really is a lot of time. You saying, I've been here for quite some time. You finally get up off your knees or you finally walk out of that room and it ain't even good 5 minutes that you've been praying. And you can't believe that you didn't spend hardly no time. Because now you've got an agenda, and your agenda says go, 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 go. In Matthew the 6th chapter. Okay? 6th chapter. Do you have your paper?
Yes.
Okay.
Prayers, we spend time on our knees begging for what we want. For our selfish.
Come on.
And rather than praying for others.
And that's where he's talking about in that James 4th chapter. because you asked, but you asked the wrong motives. This ain't about helping others. This is about helping you. Your prayer is concentrated on, Lord, please forgive me of my sins. Lord, just help me make it through the day. I thank you, Lord, for waking me up this morning. Everything I done said is about you. Everything I done said is about you. You ain't said nothing about others. Oh, by the way, so it'll flavor itself out. Lord, I pray for the sick and the afflicted, the bereaved, and the shut in and the shut out.
That was quick.
You hear me? But you hear me? And then you shift right back into you. Lord, I'm going to go through this day. Please help me. Lord, as I go through this day, I'm going to need your help. I want to, Lord, I pray that you help others. Dear Lord, I thank you for the church. Dear Lord, I pray that you help the church. Listen to what I'm talking about. That's so general. That is so general. Yes, go.
Yeah, I was just going to say that prayer has to be focus driven, number one. And number two, I know what I do sometimes is I pray, like, I had to learn this, just before I can direct my attention on thanking God, before I know it, I start off thanking God, and really quick,
Come on.
I'm on me.
Come on.
And something is wrong there, because my real motive was about me.
Come on.
But I had to smoke screen it.
That's where I'm at.
And this is what I had to learn. So what I learned to do is, I said, when I pray to God, I'm just going to pray and be thankful. I'm just going to thank him. As many thankful things as I can come up with. And if I run out of things, that lets me know where I really am. Because you should be able to go a whole day thanking God.
That's right.
And try it. I guarantee you'll run out real quick. But as you put it to practice,
Right.
it will help remove you.
That's right.
I'm saying and that's what, it's like, and then how often do you pray and you done lost your focus?
That's what, come on, God.
Thinking, and your mind, exactly. So technically, you got to start over.
And it's just...
What you said, that's really
Technically, you got to start over.
Because watch this. You're ending with in his name. You didn't lost your thought, so it ain't in his name no more. It's in your name. If you really stop and think about it, it's really in your name now.
Yeah.
That's what I said. So it's just food for thought. Think about it. So then when you pray, when he's talking about going to that room, he's trying to say, remove all distractions. Why? Because you're going to be distracted anyway. What's going to distract you? You've been in this world too long. What's going to distract you? The worries and the cares of this world is going to distract you. So then, since this be the issue, then go into the room, close the doors, and that way, if you have to start all over again, then you start all over again. And I'm guilty. I'm guilty of the same thing. Yeah.
Something with me is the opposite. I pray for others more than I pray for myself.
Praise God.
I do. And one day I was praying and I said, okay, let me include myself in there.
That's all
I said,
right.
Lord, but I literally do. And it's just something that naturally happens. I pray for everybody and everything else.
Okay.
So
That's
I pray for myself. Because I guess I have an instinct that God is going to take care of me.
And he is.
So I need to pray for everybody else.
And he is. And then, like I said, and then what do you pray about? That's the next thought. I pray for others about what? How about this? Lord, I pray for the sick. Okay.
What's sick?
Well, here we go. Well, come on, man. And come on. You praying for the sick. Who's sick?
Right.
What is sick about them? You just sick of them? What are you praying for? See, a lot of times we miss that. The afflicted. Who's afflicted? What are you talking about? Who is it that you focus in on? So a lot of times we don't understand supplication. We don't understand prayer. So we've been taught, just pray. We've start just praying. What do? You throw out a general prayer. I start to shut that down. I said, for my brothers and sisters in Westchester. Then I shut it down some more. Not only my brothers and sisters in Westchester, but I pray for, then I give names. Hear me? Then I give names. Somebody said, well, you ain't got to do all that because God already knows. But he told us, you ask. He already knows what you said. But you become more specific in your prayer. I guarantee you, Dr. Calvin, that's too much time. I got to go somewhere. I need to do this. Maybe you need to get up earlier. See, maybe you don't need to be in such a hurry. Maybe you need to get up earlier. Somebody said, you crazy. You mean, wait a minute, you have to be at work at 6? You try to tell me you get up at 4:30 and you pray for a half an hour? You got to be out your mind. When you could be sleeping. When you could be sleeping. That's what I need to do, then that's what I'm going to do. I get up early enough and I say, what do you say? Praying. I made this example. I said, I take my dogs around the block a couple of times. I said, so I'm praying to God while I'm taking my dog around the block. Stop it! Don't do that! Stop barking at that dog! Leave that dog alone! But you hear what I'm saying? But you praying to God, huh? But you praying to God, you more distracted than a little bit. Because them dogs is going to do, they're animals. They're going to do what they're going to do. You see what I'm saying? So now you feel like you accomplished something because you prayed to God while you were walking, because this is going to take you every bit of at least 30 to 40 minutes to get them dogs around, sometimes an hour to get them dogs around. So boy, you figure you've accomplished something. And watch this. Let's see, what was it I was praying on? And what you say, Calvin, in reality, you need to start all over again.
Because prayer should keep you a while.
You got it.
And that's the whole point. If you got these quick prayers, it's not designed to do what it's designed to do.
You got it.
It's to get you to stay a while. In other words, you go in thinking you're only going to be there a little bit, but you come to realize you got more on your heart than you didn't even think about.
Good.
And it's weighing on you because now you're communing with God.
Give you a good example.
What?
So should your study. Give you a good example. So should your study. Your study shouldn't be a good 20, 30 minutes while I study so I can close the book. I've seen it too many times. I used to say this all the time. I get 1 or 2 verses and I'm stuck. I need to go find out what's going on with it. Y'all know how detailed I am anyway. So I'm stuck. I need to go find some definitions. I might look like I know something, but I'm kind of dumb. I need to go read some stuff. I need to go get some definition. I need to understand what these words are so I can turn around and put them where they belong. But that takes time. Did you hear me? But that takes time. Well, I'm saying, thank God you've given me time. Because you've given me life. So let me take the time as I study. Let me take the time as I pray. Praying is so important in a Christian's life. It is demanding in a Christian's life. Here's something else that's demanding in a Christian's life. Watch your text. Well, we're at 16. Here's something else that's demanding in a Christian's life. 16 says what?
When you fast.
When you what?
When you fast.
Watch this. I want you to see this, and I'm going to bring it over here. Pull this paper out. We talked about it, and we're going to get started. We couldn't get nowhere last week, but I want you to see it. It says, as stated in the introduction.
As stated in the introduction.
I already said that.
Okay.
I just teach.
This I know. Okay. Fasting means being so consumed with the matter that it becomes more important than food.
It becomes more important than what?
Food.
Come on, keep going.
Therefore, the believer sets food aside in order to concentrate on seeking God.
Who does this? The believer. I told you, the believer finds this more important than food. Keep going.
Biblical fasting means more than just abstaining from food. It means to abstain from food in order to concentrate upon God and His answer to a particular matter. Biblical fasting involves prayer, intense supplication.
And I put that for a reason. I said intense
Intense supplication.
supplication. It is, I told you, we have taken prayer lightly as Christians. And if anybody, prayer means what? Prayer means what?
Talking to God.
What?
Talking to God.
That's right, communication with God. So, as a Christian, who can talk to God? We can talk to God. And we don't take advantage of that. Stop and think about it. And we don't find that important. You got folks still trying to figure out who God is. You can actually talk to God, not just God the Son, God the Father. Stop and think about it. Your prayers, Jesus, when he was on that cross, he tore down that wall of petition. He tore it from top to bottom, not from bottom to top, from top to bottom. That petition was designed, that was what was covering us where we couldn't talk to the Father. Jesus says, I just tore it down, so now when you pray, you pray to the Father. But think about that. You're praying to the Father. Watch this. I said something else. Come on, to the teacher.
Fasting is a duty.
Fasting is a what? So why we don't do it? So why we don't do it? Did you hear me? So why we don't do it? You watch this. Your text said what? What did your Bible say in 16? What did the Bible say in 16?
Fast.
What did it say?
When you fast.
When, he didn't say, and if you decide to fast, Jesus says, when you fast. Jesus said, that is your duty. Well, I'm going to fast. Yeah, you fasting to lose a few pounds. Jesus says, it is not involved in you fasting to lose a few pounds. It is not designed for you to fast to cleanse the body. It is designed for you to fast to cleanse the mind.
And we should do it without notice too, right?
Oh, this is coming up. We're getting there. We're coming there. But you need to see that fasting is a duty. So when do I fast? I don't know. That's up to you when you fast. But the bottom line is, it's something that God is asking of us to do. Why? Because it is designed so that when you pray, your prayers are cleansed. They're good prayers, good thoughts that go up to God. Because you are now disciplining this stuff that you're in. You're telling this flesh, I don't care if you are hungry, you ain't going to eat. Just said something. Well, I'm going to keep bothering you. Flesh says, I'm going to keep bothering you. You say, keep bothering me. And you'll never eat. So now how do we work this? You want to keep bothering me? So you'll never eat? Or you want to allow me to talk to my master so that I can cleanse my mind so that when my prayers come about, you said this too this morning, Calvin. You know, I've been praying, I've been fasting, and you know what? I think I'll make Bible study.
Amen.
You weren't making it, but all of a sudden you think, you know, I think I'll get down.
Fasting is amazing.
And I think because it's a cleansing of the mind, all of a sudden, God becomes important. Well, I need to be at my job. I guarantee you can lose your job, but you don't never want to lose God.
Amen.
You hear me? But you don't never want to lose God. And I guarantee you that God knows what you need before you even ask anyway. God knows if you lost that job behind him, God says, you don't understand, I closed that door. I will open another one, a much better one that will allow you to serve me better. I can remember coming along in this banking world and missed many a chance to get where I needed to go. Because all they could hear was, there's a religious man sitting there. He ain't going to do this, he ain't going to do that. He ain't going to go to your parties. He ain't going to go to your little functions. He's not going to do that. Many a times, hey, they've got a partner, this event, and you need to be there. Well, so what is the appointment? What is the event? Well, you don't understand, your GM is there. He's going to be there. Your district manager is there. He's going to be there, and I wouldn't show up. And then will have anybody saying, Warren, he's supposed to be there. I'm not going to watch you get drunk. I'm not going to watch you trying to chit-chat and talk to someone else, and I see that I know you married. I'm not interested in your livelihood. I'm not interested in your worldly ways. And it stifled, a lot of times, my advancing on. Did you hear me? So my advancing on would be I'd have to leave that bank and go to another one. Because why? You've caused the problem. You too religious. We know what you ain't gonna do. And there's nothing wrong with, I heard a gentleman say, who hasn't had one affair? All men have affairs. I want to tap in that radio and say, I hate to tell you, I haven't. And maybe I can get some others that will tap in and say they haven't either. But what you've done is you put us all in a box, all men in a box, and say every last one of us have done it whether we like it or not. No, that ain't true. And this is the mentality. What I'm saying here is when you are in prayer, when you go in prayer, when you make a fasting, it cleanses the mind. And by the way, the body of prophet behind it too. But it cleanses the mind. Because you're telling the mind, try it. Try fasting. And you see how many things run through your head. I mean, stuff going left and right through your head. I'm trying to tell you, when you start to do it, all of a sudden that little cheesecake is just, it is awesome now. Them beyond the sausages that was on the table, all of a sudden they look so big. You hear me? I'm trying to come up with some dumb food. But stop and think about it. All of a sudden, it means so much. You can't wait till you get a piece of that. And when your body, and I don't know about you, I've done this, where you get into, when you just start to fast. Have you ever got dizzy? Lightheaded? There we go. Dizzy, lightheaded. And did you know then, if you just remain still, don't feed the body, just pull the left. Still don't feed the body, still leave it alone. Did you know you'll get past that lightheadedness? Did you know it will pass? No, I gotta eat it because I'm too lightheaded. Did you know if you just hold on, it'll pass? That's what I'm talking about. That's the body withdrawing. That's what that is. That's the body fighting and saying, no, you gotta feed me. That's why you're lightheaded, because I'm demanding food. Now you give me some food, I'm good to go. Ever been lightheaded, all you took was a candy bar and you back to normal? Come on.
Yeah, I was just going to say, oftentimes we say things that we believe might improve us, but we don't necessarily make a connection. Like, for example, I want to be more committed.
Come on.
Pray.
There you go.
Pray more. Kick your prayer life up.
There you go.
And it will definitely show you how to be more committed.
You got it.
Because it'll work on that mind, and you'll start to learn that you a little more is required than just a few minutes or just what you wanted to pray about.
So watch this. Prayer, fasting. What are you talking about, Brother Thompson? When you do these things, it cleanses the mind. When it cleanses the mind, then you'll be able to see God better. You'll be able to understand. It'll finally click. I am in a chaotic world. I made a statement to the class this morning. I said, there is a neighbor of mine that I walk the dogs every night. And sometimes I leave these things out just to make sure when I come around, he can chit-chat with me. So anyway, Sunday, when I got home, I'm walking the dogs. I have that kind that you put around your waist. And yeah, and I got the big dog around the waist. And the little dog, he can't get there. But I've got it. And so sure enough, when I was walking around, there he was. So we stopped. I stopped, pulled the dogs in. We started to talk. I talked about my sermon last Sunday. I says, after the storm. He says, okay. So I explained it to him. And then, when it was all said and done, I didn't even realize I didn't spend about an hour and a half talking to him. Watch this. I says, oh my God, I can't believe it's this late. I said, Chief, I got to roll up. I said, man, I love you. He says, Brother Thompson? Oh, he says, Pastor, first of all, I'm glad we have a pastor in the neighborhood. He says, but Pastor, he says, I'm going to come there. He says, real soon. I says, oh, okay, I'm used to hearing, I'm coming. He says, no. I have told you I was coming. He says, let me explain to you what I do at my church. I said, okay. So he told me. I says, okay. He says, but I want you to know, Lord have mercy, you gave a lesson to me. He says, now I know. He said, boy, you're a very good speaker. I says, thank you, but I'm trying to get nobody. He says, I know. He says, but I told you I'm going to come here and stuff. He said, I'm coming real soon. I said, let me do you a favor. He said, what? I said, if you come, you can come and visit maybe once or twice. He looked at me. I said, because I don't want you to stay. Somebody said, you got to be out your mind telling that man not to stay. Watch this. When you understand prayer, when you talk to God more, watch this. That man that I was talking to was saved. My responsibilities go to the lost, to that which is lost. So I told him that. I says, Chief, you can come, but you're saved. I says, so I don't even know why you don't need to be here. I says, my business is for those that are unsaved. He says, he backed up and said, wow, no one has said that. He said, folks is forever stealing members. I said, I don't steal members. I said, that's why I mentioned to you, you're already saved. I said, if you want to come, you can come. I said, I'm going to give you one better. If you want to stay, you stay to support. You do not stay to ride my pews. He says, I've never heard this before out of any minister make that statement. He says, they normally trying to persuade you, lock you in, and ask you to come. I said, that ain't me. I says, I talk to you all the time. I can hear you're saved. So why I need to have a house full of saved folks? I said, unless you want to be refueled, then yes, amen. But if you come because you want to be a member, because you don't like where you are saved, and the more you know who God is, there's certain places you don't need to be. You need to be out there in the fields. You need to be just like we should all be doing, out and about. But you won't know this if you don't train the mind. If you don't cleanse the mind, you don't see this. Because back to the text, he says, when you fast. He made that clear as a bell. He says, when you fast, this is what you are to do. You won't be late when you fast.
I was like, I am.
She like, I'm gonna kill it. She like, I'm gonna kill it. Okay. Here we go again. But so anyway, and for those that don't know, this is my buddy. But anyway, so then watch this. Getting back to your paper. He says, when ye fast, he says what?
Fasting is a duty.
No, he says, when you fast, it's on your paper. No, it's on your paper. When you fast. Show them.
Fasting is a duty.
When ye fast.
When ye fast, he
expects.
Hello, you can't dare remove that. You can't dare remove that. When you fast, he expects you to fast. That is a duty. He ain't saying, I hope you fast. He's saying, that's why you have problems in the church. I made the statement. Why is Westchester so stagnant? Because she doesn't pray enough. Well, God, please help me. I got, Lord, please be with me. I've got this and I got that to do. And we're going. Watch this. Even on a Sunday when you should even have more time. But you know what you do? You even, now I can be at work at 8:30 and Bible study don't start till 9 and I don't have plans on being there. So that means I don't have to be out until 10:30. So what I'm going to do is now I push it even farther back. I can stay in bed a little bit longer. Do you hear what you're doing? You've been getting up every day at 6:30 or 5:30 or whatever time you've been getting up. Why do you need to do that on God's day? You're programmed. You're already programmed. Am I right? You're already programmed to get up at 5:30. That's why you woke up at 5:30 on a Sunday. That's why you woke up. But when you looked at the clock, you said, oh, I got plenty of time. I get mostly. You were programmed, but you know what you do? You said, work, you're number one. You said, God, you're number two. That's what you said. When you should have said, hey, you know what, I woke up here, so why don't I do this? Why don't I start getting myself together? Watch this. Why don't I do one better than that? With all this time I got, why don't I go into that room? Why don't I close that door? Why don't I shut up all that music? Why don't I concentrate and talk to God? I am so thankful because you woke me up this morning. Calvin made the statement, how many thank yous can you get out before you run out of thank yous? When you owe this man your life, how many thank yous can you get out? You ran out of thank yous in about 2 minutes? What's wrong with this picture? Huh?
It's about 90 seconds.
Oh, stop and think about it.
The first 90.
That's it. Stop and think about it. How did you run out? Watch this. And you're God's people. And you supposed to know God. How did you run out? I've seen brothers get up and pray. And they scratching their mental heads because they try to figure out what else to say. It shows you don't pray. That's why you can't pray. If anything, a lot of times, and I know you have to do the same thing, because I have to do it. I have to say, you done had them heads down long enough. You need to get ready to bring this to an end. Why are you praying so long? Because there's so much to talk to God about. Then I heard another person get up, and that prayer in 90 seconds. And, amen.
Well, the first 48.
Okay, there you go. That's it, 48 seconds. And it's over. Why? Because you didn't run out of stuff to say. So you sit there and I can see you thinking, and Lord, why are you thinking so hard? Because you don't pray. The more you start to pray, the more regular it becomes. I'm trying to tell you, you can hear it.
Discipline.
Yes.
Become more disciplined.
Yes.
And then you don't see things the same way anymore.
I like that, Calvin.
You don't.
Because then
it starts to make sense to you.
watch this. Jesus made a statement. You know, he made it through a gentleman by the way of James. He says, love covers a multitude. But you just heard that statement. You don't even understand the statement. Watch this. He's saying it's love that covers a multitude of sin. Watch this. When you're in prayer like you should be, you don't see someone else's sin.
Amen.
When you're in prayer like you should be, it's no longer me concentrating on, let me tell this person a thing or two of what they're doing wrong. It's not at that state of mind. I was saying now, if anything, you think about what did you do? You know, a lot of times we miss this. You're so busy looking at someone else, but you don't realize you were worse than that. But you know why? No, but no. Why? Watch this. Why did you slow down? Because you got old? Why did you slow down? Why is it I don't do this no more? Is it because you got old? What were you doing when you were younger? Weren't you doing the same thing? Because your youth just kept you going. Prayer is important. Fasting is important. It's very important. Now we'll press on. I don't know why she ain't been up there. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. Oh no, don't start. Don't start with me. Won't be done. Okay. 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 Fasting. She over there writing her own notes. That's what I'm talking about. She ought to be ashamed of herself. And she think I can see. Okay. Okay. But read fasting.
Fasting is to be done without notice. The believer is to fast before
Lenny,
God.
you asked. Remember you asked?
Yes.
Fasting is to be done without notice. You don't know, go tell everybody, hey girl, hey, of course you know, I hang with you, but you know, girl, I'm planning on fasting today. She don't need to know that you fasting today. Hey, I was wondering, would we go have lunch? I would love to, but you know what, I got another agenda. She doesn't need to know that, hey, you're fasting. Because that fasting is supposed to be between you and God. That's all it's supposed to be. So we got fasting.
The believer is to fast before God, not before men.
Uh-oh.
There is to be no change in appearance or behavior
Uh-oh.
to indicate that
There's to be what then? No change. See that? Ain't no supposed to be no change in your behavior. Watch this. Well, you just got to understand. No, I don't have to understand. Why you got an adder in your tube?
I'm fasting.
But you know what I'm saying? But that's really what you're saying. Because I'm fasting. Then it's a waste of time. Your behavior should not change. What do you mean? Yes, you're hungry, but it should not cause so much distraction that you can't now. I mean, that somebody says, "I don't know, something wrong with them. Something ain't right there. Something's not right." It also says this fasting that you're doing, it's not for the purpose of what it should be done for. It's what you're fasting is because you're trying to lose weight. And it shouldn't be because you're trying to lose weight. It should be because you're trying to lose sin. Run that by you again. You're supposed to be trying to lose sin. So if I cleanse my mind, then this sin, these crazy thoughts, and I know every last one of us got it. These crazy thoughts, you're trying to get rid of that garbage. And the only way that's going to happen is if God's given us instructions on how to do it, then we need to follow the instructions. If anybody knows how to cleanse the mind, I think it would be God. God is, and this is how you work it. Because you've been wrestling with your flesh too long. I made a statement Sunday morning in Bible study. Your Bible says in 1 Corinthians, the 15th chapter, I think it's around 50. It says, flesh and blood shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven. Doesn't it say that? Flesh and blood shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven. I asked the class, flesh and blood. I thought flesh was blood. So why did he say flesh and blood? I said, because it's very simple. Because blood is life. Blood is life. The problem is it's wrapped up in flesh. So since flesh has contaminated the blood, it can't come up either. You see that? It can't come up either. So when Paul makes a statement, flesh and blood shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven, he's right, because it's contaminated. That's why it can't come up. God's got to clothe you with a new body, because that junk you got is a mess. This junk we got is a mess. How do I fix this junk that I've got, which is a mess down here on the earth? Fast. Fast. That's how you do it. You learn how to fast. I'm telling you, you stop talking about folks if you start fasting. All of a sudden, it's a different ball game. You see things a little different. Because guess what? If you allow this prayer and fasting to operate like it's supposed to do, you don't realize it. Your whole demeanor, your whole thought pattern will change. Come on, I want you to see this before I get back into my Bible. But I want you to see this. He says what? Back where we at?
There is to be no change in appearance or behavior to indicate that he is fasting. Think about it. Why should there be? Why should anyone know that a person is seeking God in a very special way? The matter is God's affair, not man's affair. It is between the person and God, not the person and other people.
So then watch this. Do this. 16 says what? Anybody can read. 16 says what?
When you fast, do not be like the hypocrites.
He says when you fast, you don't be like the who?
Hypocrites.
What's a hypocrite?
Don't practice.
Somebody wants to.
What is a hypocrite? What is the definition of a hypocrite?
We say one thing and do another.
Yeah, but what is the definition of a hypocrite?
Actor.
The definition of a hypocrite is an actor.
Actor.
You put on a show. A pretender. That's a pretender. That's what it is. It's an actor. That's what an actor does. An actor puts on a different character and who they are. I said there are some actors on the show that I can't stand. But when you find them off the stage, you find out,
It was just an act.
yeah, it was just an act. So why are you all upset with me when all I was doing, I played my role and I did a fantastic job at it. You hear me?
Yeah.
So then, watch this. Listen to what he's saying. He says, watch this. He says, what in 16?
When you fast, do not be like the hypocrites with a sad countenance.
Jesus says two things. First of all, you do fast. He says, when you fast. So do fast. He says that when you do fast, stop putting on the show. Stop trying to make it known what count. But you know, brother, man, I'm on this fasting, and you know what? It is really working. It is cleansing me. Woo! Okay, you know what I'm saying? Your pride and through that went out. There ain't nothing humble about your fasting. What it is you putting on a show, and really what it is you lying. Because fasting don't do that to you. But you want somebody to know what you're doing. So you want to make it known, this is what I'm doing, and you should try it because it cleanses the body. I want you to see something. We're forever, when we get in this text, we're forever talking about how we want to stay on the face of this earth. Christians. Christians are forever talking about how they want to live long on the face of this earth. Do you see how foolish that is? We Christians, even I've seen this in a lot of the churches. Let's bring in health programs. Let's bring in this. Let's do exercises. Let's do these things. Why? Don't you understand? When it's time for you to die, no matter what you did, God has a date for you to die. And you could be the healthiest person in the world. God has a date for you to leave this world. I don't care what you do. One man lives to be 102. And he talked to him and he says, I smoked all the time. I drank. And everything is okay. Another man dies at 22. And he's been doing everything he's supposed to do. He's exercised, he's worked. When you see him, he's got a massive body. The dude is built. And you say, what happened? Because exercise don't govern God. It may make you feel better. But if you're doing this because you want to live longer, you need to stop. When I had cancer, the doctor said to me, and I told him I had about 100 pills, and I am not kidding you, because I was with some dietitian who had me, Renee will tell you, that cabinet was full of every pill you could think of. I was taking them all. I finally went to the doctor for my exam, go back and they got to check and make sure you're okay. And I said, yeah. He says, well, yeah, you're moving in the right direction. Everything seems good. I said, yeah. I said, because doc, I'm making sure I take all my vitamins and all the pills I need. He says, what pills are you talking about? He says, I don't prescribe any pills for you. I said, yeah, doc, I've got a nutritionist, and the nutritionist is getting me to cleanse my body. He says, doctor, nutritionist? I said, no, she's a nutritionist. He says, doctor, nutritionist? I said, what are you saying? He says, they're not even a doctor. He says, they're not even a doctor. So you rather listen to somebody that's not even a doctor. And I am a doctor. He says, let me bring something to your attention, young man. He says, if I knew this, and if any doctor knew this is what it would take to get rid of cancer, to cleanse it, he said, don't you think we'd have came up with that a long time ago? I said, what are you telling me? He said, go get you the juiciest, greasiest, fat hamburger you want and enjoy yourself. He says, and watches the cancer come back, it ain't behind that. I said, what? He said, it ain't behind that. He says, enjoy life. If we had an answer to why you catch cancer, he says, we would have had it. He says, so let me give you some medical. He says, everybody has a cancer cell. Everybody has a cancer cell. He says it just goes out of control. But everyone has a cancer cell. He said it is designed to cleanse the body. I said, isn't that something? He says it is, doesn't it eat? That's what it does. He said it is designed. God gave you cancer, and cancer is designed to keep you moving in the right direction. I said, well, ain't that nothing. I said, well, Doc, let me tell you, let me take this. You through? He said, yeah. I said, because I'm finna go find Fatburger. I'm finna go get me one of the good old hamburgers. I said, I'm gonna sit down and eat this. And watch this. And I'm not kidding you. Somebody said, well, chili. And watch this. And then watch this. And then when I went home, asked my wife, she said, what are you doing? I had the trash can out. I spent all that money. I'm raking all the pills into the trash can. My wife says, what? I said, Doc said, I don't need this is a bunch of mess. I said, I don't like half them pills, no way. I said, if I can toss them, I says, I'm through. Renee's thought was, but we paid, I don't care. I'll pay you back if that's the case. I don't want these pills. I threw them all in the trash can, and I'm sure the garbage man, when he heard all that stuff falling in there. And watch this. The doctor was right. Because you know what? I think it was 6 months later, the doctor was dead. And here I still am. And he didn't have cancer. Wake up call. Fasting is important. Praying is important. Let's focus in on what God wants us to focus in and still stop hooping and hollering about this body. And let me tell you what you got to do to this body. And let me tell you what you got to put in it. And let me tell you what you can't put in it. I hate to tell you this. God says you do whatever you want to do with it. You don't realize that you have a date. Death is a promise to you. It's coming. You don't know when you're going to die, but you have a date. Yes.
So when churches collectively come together and they do the Daniel fast, if fasts are supposed to be something that is not noticed,
Fasting is something that's supposed to be not noticed?
Without notice?
Yes, without notice.
Right.
That's right. And watch this. You don't realize a lot of churches that are doing this fast and stuff, that they said no. They're making money.
Oh.
It's designed through the government that if I set up a program, and this program, all I need to do is turn in and show them that yes, I've got the church on an exercising program. I'm telling you the truth. I know this for a fact. I saw a minister who was driving a Toyota, now an Lexus. I saw the associate that was driving a Camry, now pushing a BMW. I said, I don't know what's going on, but everybody that was a part of that program, these vehicles changed. And not only did they change, but their clothing changed as well. I can't say it enough. If we wanted to do something and really want to get some money, then we go to the government. And the government says, yeah, if you do this, I'll give you some money. There's all kinds of ways to get money through the government. But the problem is, God says He takes care of the church, not the government. He says, I provide, but not the government. And so what do? You get so many men that have figured out a way to prosper so that if you prosper, then guess who prospers? His pockets get full because you prosper. Watch this. It took place at the church. What do you normally do then? Your collection gets a little better. Because you're a little bit more healthy. Your collection gets a little bit better. Too quiet. Let's go. He says, back to our text. Lenny didn't finish it. She should have been finishing by now. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
For they disfigure their faces, that they may appear to men to be fasting. Assuredly, I say to you, they have their rewards.
So 17 says what?
But you, when you fast, anoint your head and wash your face.
But who?
You.
But you. He says, but you do need to fast. And when you fast, he says you need to look as normal as possible when you fast. You don't need, the world doesn't need to know what you're doing. You make yourself, if you put makeup on, then put the makeup back on. If this is whatever it is you're doing. I notice you're losing weight. Thank you very much. They still don't need to know that you're fasting. Somebody asked me, so when should I fast? That's on you, whenever you want to fast. All God is saying is that is a duty. He didn't say, I hope you fast. He says, when you fast. I told you we don't teach this. The church, you don't hear this in the church. And I don't know why we don't say this in the church. Because we talk about we speak with the Bible speaking, we're silent with the Bible is silent. Then why are we talking about fasting?
So, that's the thing, it says that when you fast, anoint your head and wash your face. So then when you begin to fast, put oil on your face.
Now, when you fast, babe.
Well, it's just so you go right.
That's it, babe. That's really what he's saying. When you fast, babe. Well, anointing. For what? Or what's anointing? What are you putting on? He's talking about when you fast, anoint. What do you mean? Recognize what you're doing. Understand what you're doing and then do it. What'd you say? Your approach. Yes, that's what he's talking about. Just watch this, but do it. But do this. This you'll feel better, watch this, spiritually, because you've been so focused on the physical side of things that you don't even see the spiritual side of things. So you're forever doing things for the flesh, but what do you do for the spirit? And watch this, and in doing it, you mentioned this, Calvert, and in doing this, you said, how often do you pray? 45, 48 seconds? How often do you pray? 90 seconds? And then you're about your business? Do you take the time when you get up? Do you take the time to go into your whatever room it is? Do you take the time to say, it's me and you, Lord. I am going to talk to you, Lord. I ain't going nowhere. It's just me and you. I've closed the doors. There's no music. There's no nothing. I am going to talk to you, Lord. Now, how long? I don't know, Lord. You got to forgive me. I notice I need to be out here about 5 minutes. God said, don't waste your time. Go wherever you're going. Because watch this. because he refuses to be number two. Either I'm number one or I don't exist in your life. You've made your exercises, you tried to do everything you could to make your body look good. You made it number one. When do you make your mind number one? Yes.
I know this is going to be a little awkward. First Chronicles 16:11. And I know you can have a heart attack.
First Chronicles, brother, not
That's
Chronicles.
right. First Chronicles 16. All right, 11.
Wait, no. First Chronicles 16:11. Go ahead.
Everybody got it?
Everybody got it? Chronicles?
First, second.
Come out to your
First,
kings.
second.
Yeah, just go out your second, first and second.
In the Old Testament. Yeah, first, second, Chronicles. First, second.
Is there a Nehemiah, Esther, Job's on first? Ecclesiastes on song, Isaiah, Jeremiah on Christmas.
16:11.
Yeah, he's saying this at God is up to
It says, look to the Lord in his strength. Seek his face always. A lot of times I need to get that strength to take on the day. So I seek his face. How do I seek his face? Pray.
That's all my way.
That's how I seek his face. You'll find the same thing over in Psalms 105 verse 4. Same thing. Seek his face. It'll set the tone for your day, but it'll give you strength. You know how this world, I don't know, this world takes a lot out of you. It drains you. And so you can be so drained, so consumed, to where you get home, all you want to do is you.
That's true.
And watch this. That might be when the work begins. Maybe that's why I can't sleep. But I can get up on time, right? No, but honestly, the bottom line is, oh, you're thinking about that. No, but honestly, oftentimes you got to look at it because God is telling you something. And usually it's probably something you're not doing. If you don't do it my way, and you would like to do it your way, you're going to get the same results. He said, do it the way that I'm telling you to do it. And I always say that this is something I've learned because I can speak on it now. I start seeking his face. I don't get up out of that bed. And sometimes I realize it's not real quick.
I think I'm going to use
And
it.
it's not something I thought about.
When you said that, I just thought about it.
When I pray, I
No,
realize
about
it took me a while.
About getting up. I can use that. So, you getting up, baby, I'm praying. but you are right.
Seek his face.
Yes, he can. Get in touch with God. Guys, watch this. Fasting, I'm at the last paragraph. Fasting is to be to God alone. The believer is to fast to God alone. God is the object of his fast. He needs to meet God in a very, very special way. In meeting God all alone, the believer demonstrates his dependency upon God and his provisions. What are you saying? Because, what am I saying is because a lot of times, by looking at this text, we are too independent. And God ain't never told us to be independent. Leave me alone because I'm coming along, and if I make some mistakes, I just make some mistakes. Not if you make some. Hear me? Not if you make some. You're going to make some. Because your independence is, you don't realize that you didn't remove that person, you also removed God.
Amen.
Your independency will get you in worlds of trouble. God never made you to be an independent creature. He always made you with dependencies. We call them interdependencies. But watch this. But he's made you this way. What are you talking about? God designed you to worship. That's the way you made. God made you a social being. That's the way He made you. He made you where you depend upon others. Why do you think when you put a man in prison and put him in solitary, he'll go crazy? You have to hurry up and get him out of there because he will completely lose his mind because he's not around anyone. But there's just four walls. He's not around anyone. He has had nobody to talk to. It will kill him. It will kill him. Because why? How about this one? When they dropped a little water on him, just dropped a little water on him. Why is it just water? It will kill him. Why? Because he wasn't designed that way. It's amazing how the system itself has figured out how to use things to make a man talk. And you don't have to beat him to make him talk. You just do things that God said. Put him in a room by himself and leave him there for a minute too. And watch him. Okay? And keep tabs on him. Because if you don't, he'll be talking to the walls. We are social beings. He made this. Where did you pull this? Watch this. I pulled this because I want you to see something. He says in 18, so that you do not appear to man to be fasting, but to, watch this, but to your Father who is in secret place, and your Father who sees in secret will reward you openly. Then he said something else. In 19 he says, and do not what?
Store up for yourself.
Yours says store up, mine says lay up. But he says, but do not what? Lay up, right? Pull your papers. The best way to find out what lay up is to get the definition on it, right? That's the best way to find out. Get the definition. That's one thing about y'all should love me for that. Because I make sure that when I give you something, you don't have to go, well, I think it means. No, just read the paper. And by the way, I ain't no genius. I pulled it out of some dictionary, out of some encyclopedia. I pulled it. I ain't no genius. But what I did was I put down what they said it means. I says what? It says what? Lay up means what? That's the sorium. Sorium. And watch this. And it means what? It comes from where? Same basic. Come on.
A literal translation of this phrase will therefore be, do not treasure up treasures for yourself.
Come on, now keep reading because I want you to see this.
Where,
I didn't say no win. I didn't say no win.
where are our
Yes.
thoughts? What do we think about? Are our thoughts on earth or in heaven? Is our mind on earthly things or God? What are we seeking? The things of the earth, of the things, or the things of heaven? Where is our heart? Focus on earth or focus on heaven? The concern of Christ in this passage is money, possessions, and materials.
Keep
It's
going.
easier to covet earthly things than heavenly things for reasons. They are seen and can be handled.
That's why you can handle.
They are sought by most people, and other people influence us. A person is either worldly minded or heavenly minded.
Amen.
Romans 8:5-7. They are to varying degrees necessary for life. They are present ever before us and can be possessed right now.
Your Bible says, do not lay up for yourself treasures on earth where moth, rust destroy, and where thieves break in and steal. Be careful, because I told you, this word lay up treasure he's talking about that which is monetary. He's talking about the things that you see, touch, taste. God is saying, I'm telling you, you need to stop laying up these things. You need to stop holding on to these things. You say, what do you mean? You got a dress, but you got to get another dress. You got a suit, but you got to get another suit. You got 20 pair of shoes, but you need to have that 21 pair of shoes. Stop and think about it. What are you talking about? I'm saying, here's what God is talking about. He says, because what are you doing? They got a fire right now that's going on. Right now, as we speak, that's going on. It's getting so close to those homes. What are you worried about? I don't want to see my home go to, who does? Nobody wants to see their home. But what investments, well, how did you invest? Is that your life that's going up? Is that your treasure that's going up? God has just showed you an example. If you had to put it where it's supposed to be, your treasures where they were supposed to be, your treasures are to be what's spiritual. They're not to be physical. They're not to be the things that we all guilty, so we can't hold back on that. Every last one of us, I see you every Sunday come with something different, so don't give me that. I know we all do the same thing, but we are in Christ Jesus. We were supposed to be setting examples. Run that by you again. We are to set examples. And what we've done is that's why the world can't identify us. You know, they came out with all kinds of different clothes that you got. Or we got. Then they came up, I said, I'm trying to tell you, I'm going to touch down on some more stuff. I says, here's what the world did. The world at one time had a woman wear a full-figure bathing suit. Remember? And she struggled with that full-figure bathing suit when she came out. Then man says, take the center out. So then she said, there ain't no way in the world they're going to see because now I'm in my underwears. That was the thinking. Then they said, but it's still not thin enough. Now let's cut it down some more, where it's even lower and it's even closer up. So now that man has nothing to imagine. He gets to see everything. We call it a bikini. Then he went even farther, and in today's world, he says that's still not enough flesh showing. So let's put it in strings. Watch this. That's still not enough, because man says, here's what we've got to do. You know, here's a little outfit we can put on them. It's called leggings. Let's put them in those outfits. Why? That man doesn't have to imagine anymore. He doesn't have to imagine. And watch this. You said, whether you know it or not, before all this came along, I will never go out of the house like this. And now you could care less. You walk out the house just as big. No, don't even get second thoughts until that fly walks upon you and say, how you doing? And you saying, I don't know why he's talking to me. He sees the package. That's why he's all up on you. Because he sees exactly what, he don't have to go to the nightclubs or the day clubs anymore. See, the little nightclub started where you wore certain outfits. Your day club says you don't have to wear it at all. I'm talking about the gyms. That's your day club. When they brought it, unisex they brought it in. So guess what? Women that have the same agenda men. I sure want to see what I'm going to get into this evening. The girl says, I'm going to make it easy for you because I'm going to let you see the product. And you don't give second thoughts about it. God is saying, but what has happened here? He says, what our problem is, you don't realize it, you have gotten caught up in the world. My Christian brother and sister have gotten caught up in the world. And now my Christian brother and sister say, I don't know why well, he should look. That's your attitude. Well, he just shouldn't look. You mess up a man's worship. Because he came to worship. But you see all that body in front of him. Hold on. That man too, because they got it out now. I said, you ain't going to catch me up. But they got him now where that man can't get his pants no tighter. They call it the skinny legs. The skinny jeans. Skinny jeans.
Skinny legs.
Or skinny jeans. You hear me?
The stinky leg and then the skinny jeans.
They came out with what?
The stinky leg and then the skinny jeans.
So that's a dance. But listen what I'm talking about. And watch this. And how many did you run in your closet? I'll not forget this. My son, I was in New York. My son, took us to Filth and Saks. I saw some pants in there. I said, oh Lord, these are nice. I went on and bought them. My wife said, don't you want to try them? Oh girl, these things are nice. I love these. These are nice. I didn't give second thoughts. I got all the way back into LA with them. I put them on and said, what the heck is this? What is this? And I paid some serious money. I told Isaac, they're yours. Every time I go out, I say, it's a darn shame you can't find regular clothing no more because they want you to lean towards the world. They want you to be accepted by the world. And you're saying, somebody said, well, that's no big thing. That's the way they want you to think. He lures you into believing that what you're doing and God's told you, do not lay up for yourself monetary things. Don't do it. Why? Today you ever did this, bought a really nice outfit, tomorrow it's old. Ever do that? It was a nice outfit, and next year it's outdated. They got something else. And they always tell you now, stay contemporary, and you can't go wrong if you stay in the contemporary look. But they even trying to tamper with the contemporary look because they're trying to make it slimmer. The key is designed to watch us. What sells? Your body. That's what sells. And so what I need to do is fix what sells. And you as a Christian should know better. I need to be cautious. I need to think. I don't need to make investments that are foolish. That's what I'm talking about. Because guess what? A foolish investment means I have to go buy something else. I've done it too many times even here. I buy a blower. You see me, and then what is a cheap blower? What happens? It blows out. It's gone. So what do? I need to go get another one. Brother King said this to me. Will you stop buying junk and go buy? Watch this. But Brother King, that's just too much money. Go buy it and you won't have to repeat it no more. You don't have to keep buying it no more. Buy and then let's move on. We buy fashionable, and tomorrow it's gone. And you don't realize that I'm guilty. It ain't just y'all. I said, then what are you doing? You're into this fashion mode, and before you turn around good, you got a closet full of very fashionable clothes, and tomorrow they're outdated. My wife used to get mad at me. You didn't buy all them suits, you didn't buy all that stuff, and now you're taking them to Goodwill. And what you gonna do? Well, I gotta replenish them. But you hear me? When he is telling you, what are you doing? You're laying up for yourself treasures. You're laying up for yourself monetary things that have no value. They're here today. I've always said, boy, if I could get back the money I spent on the suits, I'd probably have my house paid off, cars, and the whole bit. Everything would be done if I had just pulled back. But no, your eyes, I told you, it's what you see. Your eyes say, now that is nice looking. And what do? You don't allow. Why don't you allow? Because Jesus told you something prior to this before he told you to lay up your treasure. Before he mentioned that. He says what? Prayer. He says what? Fasting. He says if you use those two things, he says then you'll know how not to lay up for yourself treasures that rust and moss will eat. He's telling you how to do this. We just don't see it. We say this is cute. But if you read the whole text, he's trying to tell you, you want to live. I told you, we don't understand how to live. We think this is what living is about, where I got to look better than someone else. When in reality, they don't care what you look like. But you're saying, but this is what I got to do because I got to look good. When in reality, I hate to tell you this, so when you leave this world, you can't go out with one outfit. That's all you can go out with is one outfit.
And it ain't a whole one.
What you say? What you say? And you got it. And so now what do you have? Look what you've done. You've invested this stuff. You hear me say it all the time. If they let me put me in a paper bag and send me off, I don't want you spending 1 red cent. Why? Because I'm not there. Understand your treasures, your mindset. If once your mind has been changed through prayer and fasting, then you'll understand things. They'll click. It'll make sense to you. Why are you over there in that suit store? Why? Why don't you go home? I bet you got the same color at home. Why are you there? Because your mind hasn't developed enough to understand. Feed the spirit. Make the spirit look good. Develop the spirit. What do you mean? Why don't you pick up the word of God so you can develop the spiritual side of you? It's amazing. Well, I'm planning on doing that. It's amazing. Don't you want to go to the spiritual world? It's amazing. When you die, don't you want to be a part of the spiritual world, the good side of the spiritual world? But you did nothing while you were here to prepare yourself for the spiritual world because you were too busy trying to make this contaminated body look like something. When don't nobody care? How many, you don't raise your hands, how many ladies have you thought you was all that and then some and gotten your feelings hurt later on as time went on further down the line and you found out that joker really didn't have but one agenda on his mind, but you didn't see it at first because he told you too many times he loved you. And now he's gone. Men, stop and think about it. How many girlfriends did you have? I can't tell you. I would call my partner and say, what happened to Susan? Man, she tripping. Is she tripping? Or is it you? Yes, or is it you? Or is it you? And what did you do? You just hurt somebody else's feelings. Why? Because you use these to direct your life instead of using this to guide your life. And even if you use this and it's contaminated and it is worldly, it's going to take you in the same direction by using these anyway. That's why you have to develop this. That's why God wants you to fast. That's why God wants you to pray. Not some of the time, all the time. God knows what world you're in. He knows. He was the one that released Satan. He was the one that sent him down there. He knows how contaminated this is. And he's trying to tell you, stop being focused on this stuff here. This ain't but temporary. This is gone. But if you focus on something that's permanent, he told you don't lay up for yourself treasures on earth. He told you this. He said, well, rust and moth. And he says, and then he even mentioned thieves, didn't he? He says, and thieves coming. Why are you making such a big investment on nothing? I don't mean no harm. I've seen this too many times. Black folk got a Range Rover, a BMW, or Mercedes, and parking it in somebody's apartment. I've seen it too many times. And parking in somebody's apartment. You got a $60,000 car sitting out there, and you're parking it in a rental, somebody's place that's collecting money from you when you should have been parking it in front of your own home. We're forever doing that. Buy a brand new automobile. Ooh, I'm looking good. And paying the man. And watch this. And he say, oh, by the way, next year your rent is going up. Why? Why? Because we don't get it. And watch this. And yet you're the strongest nation of people in the world. And we don't get it. Why? Because we're materialistic. We have become that way. Don't you understand? A black man will spend you $200 or $300 on a pair of tennis shoes. On a pair of tennis shoes. You say, what in the world is wrong with that? Because we're materialistic. Why do you think that Oriental man put his business in that black area? Why do you think he put it there? Because he knows what you do. You spend your last dime, if I get the right product in there, you spend your last dime trying to look good. And you ain't got 50 cents in your pocket. See our foolish thinking? We are Christians. We're not to think like that. We should be even able to go to that store, see it, and still walk away. And not purchase one item. Why? Because when you look in your closet, you say, God, forgive me. I don't know about you all, but I do. Say it all the time. God, forgive me. I ought to be ashamed of myself. And watch this, and I would say, I ought to be ashamed of myself. And let me run this on up the stairs and put this in. But you hear me? But you hear me? And watch this. Until you come to your senses, until you learn how to pray and fast, and you realize this is wrong. Why are you why are you bringing this outfit in? It ain't no better than the one you got. You can't wear it but one at a time. Yes.
I was going to say, sometimes God blesses you with those things because it could have been how you were brought up or the things you've done in life, the people you helped. So you're blessed to be able to do that.
Well, God doesn't bless you with materialistic things that work.
Well, I mean, it's biblical that He pours out blessings on people.
His blessings are spiritual.
Okay, but I'm saying we're here on earth, and the Bible says that God blesses people. He pours out blessings.
God ain't never
So
blessed
even
you
with
with
King
soup.
David, he poured out a blessing.
Yes.
King Solomon, he poured out a blessing. So no one was better dressed than Solomon.
Right.
That was Solomon's blessing.
Did God say that was a blessing?
He blessed Solomon.
Did God say that was a blessing?
What did he say?
That's what Solomon chose. That ain't what God chose.
Solomon chose
Because watch this.
wisdom.
I'm trying to tell you, watch this. Because Solomon's wisdom got him in trouble. Got him in all kinds. Solomon almost missed heaven because of his wisdom. And then Ecclesiastes chapter 12 really opens the door. And he says, when it's all said and done, he says, it's all what? But vanity. That's what he said. He says, so what did I do? He says, so I wasted my time. I spent all this. I went out to all this luxury, which was a waste of time. I had 1,000 women, which was a waste of time. He says, I've come to the conclusion. Read it. He says, I've come to the conclusion. He says, what he said? He said, it's all vanity. He says, wisdom. He says, watch this. What is true wisdom? He says, I've come to the conclusion. To serve God.
Exactly. And that's what he did in the beginning.
Yes.
That's why God asked him what would he desire.
Yes.
He said wisdom. And therefore God told him, because of that wise choice,
Right.
he added to that blessing
Yes.
by making Solomon one of the rich. He was the richest
That's
of
right.
any king that has lived back then or today.
I
So
agree.
those were blessings that he added.
Where are those, and that's why we're wrestling, where are those blessings? Or was that something Solomon wanted? God said, by the way, that's 1 Kings 4th chapter. By the way, God said this to Solomon. He told me, not only will I give you what you need, but I will also give you what you want. He didn't say it was a blessing. He simply said, I will give you all you want. Then Solomon was the one that pursued all these things, and it disappointed God.
He didn't pursue the Queen of Sheba. She came to him.
Yes.
People were drawn to him.
Why? Behind what?
Wisdom.
Behind the blessing God gave him.
Exactly.
What was the
So
blessing
they
God gave him?
him.
What was the blessing God gave him? You didn't apply it. You didn't use the wisdom God gave you. You went very materialistic with your wisdom. It paid. It paid dividends. You just mentioned Queen of Sheba that comes in. She came in with all of these things and gave all these gifts to him. Watch this. What should he have done with those gifts? With wisdom. What should he have done with those? With wisdom.
I mean, with wisdom, I think he should have accepted them and took care of God's people.
But he didn't.
Okay, but
He
that's
took care of
what he did,
himself.
but still again, God blessed him with those things.
No, I'm telling you. That's what you keep missing. God didn't bless these. These are things he wanted. Watch this. God gives us, watch this. We think God gives us it, so I'm blessed. You did that. Don't you dare put that on God. Because if it's a blessing, when God gives you something, no one can take it away.
Nobody.
Watch this. Nobody. Watch this. If God gives you a blessing, I've heard this one. This is a blessing, then don't pay for it. You know, God blessed me with this car. Then don't pay me. So it's a blessing. Well, God gave me the job. No. You said it was a blessing.
That's just someone flapping at the mouth. I'm just saying that if people give you something, and sometimes pastors
Which I'm not knocking.
will give you a car.
I'm not
That's
knocking.
a blessing. They're not asking you to pay for it. They're just saying, I want to bless you with this. But I'm saying.
But God didn't. I'm not knocking. I think this is where we're wrong. Where we're missing on that. Then that means I blessed you. That don't mean God blessed you. That just means I blessed you. I gave you something. That has nothing to do with God blessing you.
What was your motive in giving it to you?
You got it. It's always got a
The
moment.
bottom line is, if we're interdependent, we're not doing anything on our own. That's what he's allowing us to do. So if someone blessed you with something, it's through the fruit of what God allowed them to do.
So they gave it to you for free.
That has happened.
Then stop doing what you're doing. If it's free.
What do you mean stop doing what you're
If say I'm in the ministry, you decide that I'm going to give him a call. I say, good, thank you, I ain't preaching no more. I'm trying to take off with this car. Watch it. No, but I'm saying, but it's a blessing. You gave this to me. I have a right to do anything I want to do with it because you gave this to me. So why you got an attitude? Because I don't want to preach no more.
I mean,
When it's a blessing, why you got an attitude? You gave it to me, I can do anything. Watch this. Or you give me the car and I say, good, and I'm going to give it to Calvin. Why you got an attitude? Watch this. That may be my choice or my preference. But the giver says, I didn't buy that for him. I gave that to you. It's always got a motive behind it. But God says my blessings really are gifts. They don't have anything behind them. It is something that I gave you where rust and moth will not destroy. What are you talking about? I don't know what is it that rust and moth won't destroy. You got it. Our blessings are spiritual things. But our materialistic things are things we want. And we have a tendency of calling them blessings. Well, I got up this morning and God watch this, and I worked hard, and so I deserve this. So God has blessed me. No, you bless you. You quit putting that on God. Because watch this. But didn't God give me up? Didn't God put me to work? Then why didn't God tell you what to do with it? He didn't. God says, study, learn of me, so you'll know what a blessing is. You'll understand what wisdom is. Because I blessed you, but I also gave you wisdom. And that wisdom was for you to take those finances to, first of all, take care of you. Don't remove that. Take care of you. Then last time I checked, take care of the needy. Last time I checked, I still don't hear where he says, and you need to get a car. I still don't hear where he says, and by the way, you buy a house. Because then this would go against the grains of what he's talking about and where we're at in the 6th chapter. He says, do not lay up for yourselves treasures on earth. Then that's contradicting himself. He told you not to do it.
God has the ability to work through people
Yes.
in order to meet your needs.
Yes.
And sometimes we don't understand.
Yes. And your wants.
Yeah.
I ain't going to just deal with your needs. And your wants. Because yes, God, he blessed Solomon. He gave him his wants too. What are you talking about? We need to be careful. We need to identify.
They do.
What is that?
Blessings don't cost money.
Don't cost
For those in jury, all this type
If
of stuff
somebody is
does.
meeting
A
a
blessing
need,
doesn't cost
that's a
nothing.
blessing.
No, you're right, Cheryl, because a need,
That you.
a need.
If somebody's just giving you something that you couldn't acquire yourself, that is through God and a blessing.
I know. Why, watch this.
But it meets what you need.
Carol,
That's a
Cheryl.
Yes.
Why you keep keeping Satan out of this?
Huh?
Why you keep moving Satan out of this?
None of what?
Why do you keep moving Satan out of this? Why do you push every time that it's something that's been given to you, it is from God?
That's what I'm.
Not everything is from God. Why you know? I told you, why are you ignoring Satan? Satan, right, is deception. I want you to think this is a blessing. Why? Because you're not praying and fasting like you should. Because what if you were, then you'd understand, wait a minute, this gift that a guy just gave you a watch. Baby, I just wanted to give you this watch. I want to give you this ring. And you, watch this. Any strange chance? Absolutely not. Baby, I just love you. I just love you. Watch this. Huh?
That would be in a different context.
No, that's a gift. I gave you a gift. You didn't buy it. I gave it to you.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. We have to identify what is the work of Satan versus the work of God. Because I can give you something. Satan can give you something. But it's got more deception behind it than a little bit. It was to take you away from Christ. And instead of I put you in a brand new car because I want you to feel good about yourself. I put you in a brand new house because I want you to feel good about yourself. Now, you're going to really let that house go down the tube when you know what? You know that house needs to be fixed. You know you need to work on this. Here's another good example. How many professional athletes, especially football season, is on this way? It's amazing. They getting millions. I wonder when their games are. I wonder what day their games are. And that's something. Sundays. Deception. What do you mean? Sell yourself. Shut up. I've given you millions. That's how you give you a million. Watch this. Don't play. Don't play. Watch this. Don't play. Let's get real. For that man that gave you that money, or gave you that car, or gave you that, or gave you that ring, don't lay with me. And by the way, give me back my ring.
No, we'll write it off.
Yeah, what'd you say?
We'll write it off.
I'm trying to tell you. It's so real. It all has a motive. And God is saying, don't lay up for yourself this junk. Don't get caught up in this junk. Because if you don't get caught up in this junk, then you can recognize that knucklehead that's trying to con you. That's deception. It looked like he's sincere. That's deception. He's got an agenda. Bathsheba had an agenda. Sheba had an agenda. She came down there with the understanding that he has plenty wisdom. When she heard all this wisdom, she presented all these gifts to him. Go back and study. She did not give him one dime when she showed up. When after she found out all this wisdom he had, she said, it is true. And she gave him everything. If he hadn't had no wisdom, she said, pack the house up and let's get on back down here. Be careful. Everything has a motive when it's materialistic. God says, I ain't got no motives. I love you to death. I will gift you. I will gift you. What are you talking about? I gave you the best I could give you. I gave you the very best. I gave you my son. I gave you the very best. Now hold on. And my son gave you something even better. He gave you salvation. And it's free. All you have to do is obey. It's free. It ain't got no strings attached to it. When we speak of materialistic things, be careful, because I don't want y'all walking out of here saying, well then pastor is saying, any blessings or any gifts that we get, if it's materialistic, it's not a blessing. I'm not saying that. I'm saying what you need to understand is, normally when you're getting something, it's probably because you worked to get it. It's not a blessing. You got up to go to work. That's why you're driving. And that's an opportunity. You work for that. That's not a gift. You work for that. Well, God gave me my health. Well, you still worked for it. Because you could have taken that same money and invested it somewhere else. But you invested it in a car, a house, or whatever it was. It's not a blessing. That's something you've earned. You use your money to make it, to get it. And my point is, because when God blesses you, it ain't got no price on it. It ain't got no tags on it. So, right, so can't nobody take it from you. Because God gave it to you. That's a blessing. Because God gave it to you. I used to sit on the back of cars. God has blessed me. I used to drive a Volkswagen or something. But God has blessed me. I said, well then, let me ask you something. Stop paying on it. Since it's a blessing, stop paying on it. Well, if I don't pay on it, then you stop calling. You quit insulting my God to make God say He's giving you something materialistic. That the nerve of you, God, you've given me something that's going to rust, something that's going to deteriorate. You've given this to me. When your Bible says, don't lay up, I'm not to do this. So then why'd you give me something that's going to tarnish? Why are you going to give me something that's going to rust? I didn't. It's what you gave yourself or someone else gave you. My blessings that I'm talking about are permanent. Rust, nothing will penetrate. Nothing will remove this. But you got to hold on. It's a freebie because my son died for you. My son took death away for you. So it's a freebie. I know we struggle with this, but I want you to stop and just think about it. I did a sermon on this. That's why I know what you're saying.